I want to thank you so much for your time and contributing to be part of the talk show here. It's an honor to have you here.
Sure, not a problem. It's always pleasure to meet people and tell our story so that we will have more and more people join us.
I understand. So, as a member of the founding team here at Bounce,
Yes.
could you share a little bit about how your journey took you to where you are today?
Sure. It all started about 4 to 5 years back. Three of my friends started Wicked Ride. They started as a premium and luxury motorcycle rentals. They started renting out Harley Davidsons, Ducatis, Triumphs in India, which was kind of unheard, and a lot of people did not believe. So they used to come up to the stores just to see if we are for real. So we were doing it without any deposits, without any guarantee, without holding any documents or anything of those sorts. The business was doing good. We slowly started expanding into multiple cities, multiple locations across the cities. That's when the need of real IT systems came in picture. So that's when my friends asked if I can join them, start working on building systems to handle the operations, handle the bookings and all those things. That's when I joined. I was part of regular IT job. I was working in legacy companies like Infosys, Accenture, Entity Data for about 10 years, and I took a call, made a transition into startup world with my friends. So since it was friends, it was little easier. The risk was always there. We didn't know how things will go. It was never done before. The whole market never attracted any VC community as such. It was a big risk. We had to build the community and we had to do the whole moving and shaking for the first time in the whole ecosystem.
Wow, that's amazing. So, how you transitioned from having a job to joining the team. I'm assuming you like motorcycles. You love motorcycles?
Yeah, in India, everyone loves motorcycles. That's how they get the first taste of riding or moving from point A to point B. I mean, as a kid, we always used to love to sit on the tank on the motorcycles with my fathers or brothers and all, go around. We always love the air hitting our face, flowing through our hair. It's always a kind of a childhood dream to ride big bikes, which was not so accessible.
Wow. Explain to me a little bit about Bounce. What does Bounce offer?
Yes, so we started as a premium and luxury motorcycle rentals, but often people used to come up to us asking, you have great bikes, that's good, but all I need is a small scooter which I want to take it around the city. I am there in the city for just couple of days and I don't want to ride a big motorcycle. I need a small scooter with which I can just go around, be done with my work and drop off the bike and go off. At the same time, what happened was the Bangalore metro became operational. They started and there was a sudden rush of so many people taking the metro for their daily commute. People were ready to give up their personal commute and take up metro. Within couple of weeks, the ridership went to a couple of 100,000s. So we saw an opportunity that if people are using metros, there is always a challenge with the first mile and the last mile. That's when the whole metro bikes started. We approached the government, we approached the metro body, we proposed them that we will be your first mile and last mile commute partners. And the reason why we took scooters was we knew, unlike West where cycles is the preferred mode of last mile commute in various metro stations, be it in Europe or US, we knew in India with the tropical conditions, with the infrastructure, or rather lack of infrastructure, people would not prefer to ride cycles. And unlike West, in India, the first mile last mile is not first mile last mile, it's usually 7 to 8 kilometers. So cycling for 7 to 8 kilometers in Indian conditions is not a favorable thing. So that's when we thought scooters will be the right fit. That's why we selected scooters to solve the first mile last mile. And slowly we wanted to redefine what we are as a brand. So we did not wanted to get attached to the whole word metro bikes, because there was a lot of confusion amongst the users. People used to think that we are only available in metro stations, it's only motorcycles, because in India bikes means motorcycles. So we wanted to go away with that whole thing, and we wanted to select a peppy word which usually connects to the millennials, where bounce means move. It's like let's bounce means let's get away from here, get out from here. So we thought, okay, let's select a brand name which can become a verb in the long run. something like you say Google it or say take a Uber. Same way we wanted to make it very catchy and say let's bounce from here. That's the reason it became Bounce.
Wow, that's great. So when you transitioned from your traditional job to the entrepreneurial world, what was the journey like for you personally?
For me personally, it was always fun because I was now working with my friends. We moved away from big offices to a small home where a couple of guys were sitting and working on everything. We had to learn a lot. We had to go back and learn. We used to work in the daytime. We used to do a lot of research in the night because there was no digital marketing guy, there was no operations guys, there were no customer support guys. So we had to learn the art of each of these things. So we used to watch a lot of videos, tutorials on various websites to learn how to do these things. From background I'm a technical guy, but I had to learn a lot of things about digital marketing, about social search engine optimizations, how to set up campaigns, how to design the campaigns, how to bid for each of these campaigns, how to select the keywords, how to stuff the keywords in your website so that it becomes more Google friendly. All these things, it was very challenging, but we had to learn, and we did learn over the course of time.
Great. Okay, yeah, I can imagine how the process was, but it's most important that it was fun. So going from a big company to a small company, do you feel that your experience in a job or in a big company really benefited you in this new transition, in this new chapter?
Certainly, there are a lot of things that you can carry from your legacy companies, because what legacy companies are good at is process. So in the startup world, once you get into the startup, when the teams are really small, the first process that you have to do is to unlearn all the things where you were depending on a lot of other people to get things done. Now you have to do everything. You have to be the mover. You have to move the pawn every day a little ahead. You have to move the needle for yourself and for the rest of the team, and you will start seeing the results from this on the same day. In a legacy company, you do something today, probably it will take a while for it to reach to the final production systems or whatever or it to show results. It will take a while. But here in the startup world, everything you do something in the morning and afternoon, the code will hit the production systems, and you can see how everything changed just because of that code change. So it motivates a lot. But as and when you scale, when you bring in more people, when the systems become larger, when the teams grow, when there are a lot of verticals within the teams, that's when the old legacy experience plays a vital role. So you know how to switch hats. So now you can bring in all the experience of working in the systems, working within the processes, how to build the processes, what is the importance of those processes. That plays a vital role again. You always learn from everything that you do, and whatever you have learned will never go for waste.
Right. Wow. That's a good thing. It's a good thing that it's not a waste.
Yes.
Were there any issues related in terms of how to raise funds to keep the company going?
Yes, funding was always a challenge because, as I said, the Indian funding system works this way. Is there a Western or US equivalent for this industry? Is someone has already become successful in West? If so, it becomes very easy, and it becomes very the investors know how this industry will work. What is the parameters in India, are those parameters taken care of? Then if yes, then you get funding very easily. But that was not the case with us here. There were no industry parallels as such. So we had to prove that there is a market, there is a need for the solution. And what we are trying to solve is the very basic necessity. What we believe is mobility is a fundamental right, and with the mobility is what you can achieve rest of your fundamental rights, be it your in Hindi we say it roti makda kapan, that is food, shelter and clothing. You can achieve all these three things only if you are able to move from point A to point B, so that you can go do some work, earn respectfully, and we are enabling people to do these things. And we believe this is going to solve biggest of the problems that is there, because the rate at which the cities are getting urbanized, there is a rapid urbanization. it's not fair to expect the government to scale the public transportation at the rate of which the cities are growing. There should be multiple solutions which will finally solve the public commute, and we think we will play a major role, and we were able to convince this to the investors, and finally they saw what we are doing, and after that fundraise become a little easy.
Wow. Speaking of Bounce, how many customers, how many clients do you have overall?
When it comes to Bounce, it's been only 9 months since we launched the service. We have scaled rapidly. We have clocked over 1.5 million rides till date.
Wow.
And
1.5 million?
and
That's a great
we have
beginning.
served over 100,000 customers till date.
Wow. Wow, those are good numbers.
Thank
That's
you.
been over the last 9 months.
Yes.
That's amazing. What keeps you motivated? What keeps you committed?
If you, I mean, two things keeps motivating. The first thing is the positive feedback that you get. It elates us. It kinds of motivates us to do much better things, to affect more and more people, to have a lasting impression on someone's life, where they are able to reach home earlier. They can reach on time to their office, on time to their meetings, or whatever it is. They get to spend more time with their loved ones. That's a positive impression as such. And also at the same time, India is a country where there's quite a significant population, people who are in lower middle class or below middle class. Access to personal mobility is still a challenge. Being whatever has happened in last couple of decades, still India has only 18% of the people have access to personal mobility. We providing such a solution through which people can go and earn their livelihood is something really remarkable. That keeps us motivating. At the same time, whatever services that we have put forward and something doesn't work, when people come back and tell something is not working, we take that very personally. And we take it as a challenge that how can something fail. If something has failed, we need to learn we need to learn from that mistake and make it work. So both the things keeps us motivated.
Right. Would you have any advice for people who are interested in starting their own startup? What kind of advice would you offer them?
I would only tell them that do a lot of research, that what is that you want to do in terms of whatever idea that you have picked up. What value addition are you going to trying to do into the existing solutions out there in the market? Talk to as many people as possible. Go on, list down what are the kind of people that you are trying to serve, what are the kind of companies. Either you are a B2B or a B2C. If it is B2C, go and try to talk to as many people as possible. See if they are interested in the service that you are providing, the solution. They are trying to buy what you are trying to sell. At the same time, if it is B2B, there's LinkedIn is there. Reach out to as many people as possible. Pitch your idea. See if there is a market for it. Don't feel shy. I mean, you are not losing anything. Just go ahead and try. You need not quit your job to start something. You can parallelly do both the things. Only when there is a certain assurance in what you are doing will really work, that's when you can actually move.
Right. That's true. That's valuable advice. I'll keep that in my mind when I apply those to my projects as well. You know, India is home to millions of bikers. So the result being there will be a big demand for Bounce and the services that you provide. Do you feel that India will be the largest leader in the future of bike rentals over the years? Because I know you had mentioned about the West and California.
Yes,
right?
yes. With rapid urbanizations and the government's investing millions and millions of dollars in building MRTs, mass rapid transportation, the first mile and last mile becomes everyday problem across the globe. And you cannot have your cars at the metro stations. At the last mile, to do everything, and cycles will not be efficient after a certain point of time. So, scooters will solve is what we believe, and we are not married to the whole solution of just being scooters. We want to be agnostic to the mode. The whole thing is build as many solutions as possible, so that you cater to everyone who wants to go from point A to point B.
Right. Interesting. So, if you were to write a book about your journey and with Bounce, what would you title the book? What title would you give it?
Good to go.
Hey, I like that name. Yes. It applies to the bike. Good to go. Yes. Good to go. Yes. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us, sharing your journey with us and your experiences. Would any lasting message or any last words that you'd like to share with our audience?
Yes, we have a lot of interesting problems to solve, and we would love to have more and more people join us with our journey, so that we can actually do something which will permanently change the way people commute.
Great. Right. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.